Welcome to Top Shelf, where we seek truth,
opinion,
perspective,
and we seek solutions.
Oh, it's been a minute.
it's been
here.
a long
Let's go.
we are
back.
long time coming.
Let's get it.
And season 4 is here.
That's it. Wait. Season 1 was fun. Season 2, we had a lot to do. Season 3 was the key. Now season 4, we giving you more. Let's get it.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? But as we do in our Top Shelf way, truth, opinion, and perspective, we got to get it in. We got to give honor where honor is due to the Lord and Savior above. Let's pray this in and get this in right. And can I enlist Anthony to pray?
No problem, boss. So, yes, thank you, God, just for coming again, just for us to have this opportunity, Lord God, for just praying for the people that are listening to this conversation. We started this from a long time ago, but this season, I want God to be in the forefront every time we step on the mic. If it's not IG Live, if it's not production or anything we're doing, podcast, we want to know that you are in the forefront, and everything that we say, someone becomes closer to God.
Yes.
Someone understands and say, you know what? Let me give God a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Someone breaks the cycle because they heard from us. Sorry, they heard from you. So let this be a great conversation. Let us impact the world and change tomorrow. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, and amen. Right. That was good. That prayer had some season salt on it. Let's go.
Let's go.
That's pretty good, Ant.
Thank you. I'm learning.
So
I guess a couple of things has changed between season 3 and season 4.
A lot of change.
Is what he's saying.
And make sure y'all go back and listen to those seasons too.
Yeah,
please
do.
How Anthony grew. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Thank you so much. I think we all learned a lot from these different seasons, man.
It's a shade for me.
No, I mean, you know what I want to, before we have the conversation we're going to have, like, what is one fun and inspiring thing that you guys have done as of late? Like, what's one fun, and like right off the head, like, what is one fun and inspiring thing you've done?
For me, dang.
He said, dang.
Nothing, to be honest with you, bro.
Nah, bro. Stop saying that. I think one fun thing, if I can say, you putting the trampoline together, people have been impactful because of that trampoline.
There we go.
Yo, and stop the caca, bro. That was so fun. That took me 6 hours to do, and I damn near almost broke my neck. So no, that's not what I consider fun and done.
Jeff hated the process.
Well, your daughter had a lot of fun.
Nah.
That's
I'm glad it's up. I'm glad my daughter enjoyed it, but
he said, but not me.
Something that was fun that's not even on my top 100 list of what I've done as of lately. Man, I honestly, I really can't say. I mean, I've had a busy month, but you know what? I take that back. There was something fun and done, went to the Hamptons, and actually got in the pool and really, enhanced my swimming skills.
I will say that. That is fire,
maybe
bro.
mine to some, but that was major for me because I'm not a pool person.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you're not a pool person? You don't like to, or you just don't know how to swim?
Bro, no, I could swim. I'm just not a pool person. Yeah,
okay.
I don't really care. I don't really care to be. I don't care to be in the pool. You know what it is? I don't like the feeling of jumping in a cold pool and then getting out and then like you're cold. I don't like that feeling, and I don't like water going up my nose either. So that's why I don't really care to be in the pool. Like I'll chill by the pool, hang out by the pool. But as far as being inside the pool, no. But I had fun doing it when I did because I promised my daughter that I would,
Yeah.
and so that was fun. I actually had a good time, so I would say that.
Okay.
Is the same pool, the same concept for the beach? I just want to know.
Yeah, same thing. I don't do the
Okay.
beach. Yeah, I don't do the beach either.
Okay.
I hang out at the beach. I don't go in the water.
Oh, I did
Yeah,
not know that.
yeah, it's not my thing. It's not my
So
thing.
if you ever want Jeff not to come to your event, do not have a pool party. Do
No,
not have a beach day.
No, he did not say that. He said he
I
does
will be.
not go into the pool, but
Yes.
he'll be chilling with his nice what do you call it? What's his favorite drink he like to drink?
I have a henny punch if it's
Yes, a
South
henny
Side.
punch,
Hey.
a henny punch,
Or a Duce
chilling,
punch. Chilling.
Yeah.
chilling, having a good conversation, maybe
Mhm.
Yeah.
playing some spades. That's his vibe.
Okay.
While me and you jumping in the pool.
That's it.
Shirts off.
That's like, hey, pause, man. Me with my wife jumping in the pool, and then Anthony happens to be there.
Anything gonna be belly
With
flopping
his wife.
like ain't no tomorrow, like a sea whale.
Anthony be on there. I believe I can fly.
No, R. Kelly song. No, not me.
Look, he locked up. I believe I can fly.
Oh my God.
Let me stop. I don't want to trigger nobody. What about you, Ant? What's one fun and inspiring thing you've done lately?
Oh man, so I've shared this, but I am in season 3. I'm taking my wife and I going to Costa Rica. So I went to Costa Rica this past summer. I mean, not past summer, it's still going on.
Right.
I went to definitely Costa Rica. It was a beautiful, amazing place. Like we turned to each other and like, yo, we're literally in the jungle. Like this was just amazing. We had a great time fellowshipping. That was one. The second one was I took my friend Q hiking. It was his first time hiking, and we was able to experience that. That's something that I try to do as much as experience the life, experience life the Thompson way. So I think that was a great experience for me. So what about you, bro?
Yeah, I would have to say it was Monday actually. One of my friends invited me. He was like, "Yo, I have an extra ticket to the screening of a show that he actually put me on to the show on Apple TV called Severance, and it's very good show. All great actors. Long story short, we went to the screening. Yo, it was so amazing. It was like uptown in Manhattan. Beautiful seating, beautiful theaters. We got to talk to the creator of the show, got to meet the actors from the show. Ben Stiller, he's the if y'all know Ben Stiller from There's Something About Mary, Dodgeball, and all of those other movies. But he's a director for the show, and we got to meet him. John Turturro. It was an amazing event and just very much inspiring, and
Love it.
just being in that element, seeing a show, and then hearing people talk about what they created. It was really good.
I love it.
That's dope. I love it, man. That's dope.
Yeah, man, it's
I
one of the
love it.
ones like Sabina wish she could have been there too, man. She was working.
Working hard for the money.
That's it. So hard.
Pause.
We all working hard, man. It's one of those things, man. It's like a lot has been going on in this world since we last spoke. What was it? Since season 3 had been over, we've been speaking and going on about different topics. And one question that has been on my mind is: are we in a recession? Is What do y'all think? What do y'all think, fellas? Do y'all think we're, for those who don't know what a recession is, it's basically a significant decline in economic activity.
So if we're thinking about a decline in activity as you just defined,
Mhm.
we have to look. So the government says that we're not in a recession because the job market is still increasing.
Correct.
So in perspective, if you look from a different perspective, the housing market is going up, gas is going up, food is going up, and there's a shortage of food. At this moment, you have to now think of, yes, the government said that that's their only example, or maybe from my knowledge, that's the example that they've given us. But who controls the narrative?
Mm-hmm.
The government. They actually, when the time was to say, hey, to tell the public that we're in a recession, they literally changed the whole name of what the definition of recession is.
Mm-hmm.
So they won't scare the masses. Because if you're in a recession, you not knowing what a recession is,
True.
you're gonna be scared. And
Mm-hmm.
what happens when people are scared? Last time there was a recession, violence went up. Last time there was a
Right.
recession, people stole, people did this, people did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And also people got wealthier in a recession.
Yeah.
So at this moment, if we are in a recession, I'm thankful for God. It hasn't affected my family, hasn't affected the people around me, and I'm thankful for God.
Yeah.
But in the same perspective, I'm worried if we are in a recession, what does that look like for other people?
Yeah.
So I think it all depends on who you ask. Like if you go to, you know what I'm saying, let's say you go to like Brownsville, right? Um, and you ask somebody in the Ville, they're gonna probably be like, I don't know if we're in a recession because out here it seems like we're in a recession every day because it's a struggle.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? If you, let's say, go to like the Upper East Side, or the Upper West Side, you know, where it's a wealthier demographic, for them they're probably like, nah, you know, everything's good over here. We're able to pay our bills. Everything is fine. It doesn't mean that they don't notice or know the cost or the increased cost of um, food, gas, all these essential things that we need to live and to survive. So I think personally it just depends on who you ask. I know like
Yeah.
definitely in the news and a lot, you know, you have some economists that are saying that we're not in a recession. There's some who are like kind of like say we're not, but we're going towards that direction. It's borderline. But I really believe it's on who you ask because I know like when we had our last recession, um, yes, there was like the job market definitely took a hit, so that was like a big factor. People lost their homes.
Mm-hmm.
The housing market crashed. That was like one of the big major factors of that as well. Then we also were funding a war because that's when we was with the war in Iraq. And a
Yep.
lot of times, if you look at history, when there's usually like a big war, a recession is not too far behind it,
Yeah.
or close to it. So, but here, just like what Anthony was stating, is that the job market has been pretty stable, but it definitely has been a little bit more challenging for people to be able to afford to live because though it's
Hmm.
easy to get a job, but you may have to work two, three jobs in order to kind of like maintain. And this is why I said it's like it's almost
Mm-hmm.
subjective. It just depends on really who you ask. Because
Absolutely.
if you have somebody who's already been struggling all their life, they've been on Section 8, they're on welfare, or just you know
Absolutely.
they're making ends meet and been making ends meet. For them, they don't even feel like they've been impacted by a recession because like yo, it's been like this for me, you know, the last 15, 20 years. I
Right.
don't know the difference. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I don't know when the economy's good or not because it doesn't really affect my life one way or another. I know that I still have to work two jobs. I know that there's nights I got to figure out how to put food on the table. Like
Mm-hmm.
the economy doesn't really make a difference to me. So you know, and that's just my personal opinion on that.
Right, right. Because if we're talking about it, like we spoke about this offline too, it's like we talked about like there's with what a recession is, there's higher employment rates and lower consumer spending. So
Correct.
a lot of corporations get affected by these things, like a lot of retailers, a lot of just like companies that we go to every other day. They start see us spending less, and then they start to suffer, right? But the
I
no, go ahead. Ant.
so I not push back, but a lot of times, so that thought that you have,
Mhm,
so in a way, like maybe 20 years ago, well, 10 to 5 years ago, that thought would be true, but it's transitioning now because
mhm,
we have more we have more digital we have more digital marketing in regards of like Amazon. We
mhm.
have
True,
um we have things like Walmart, and they start to cut their prices.
true.
So like for example, when we we're in COVID, we
Yeah.
started Amazon got wealthier, Walmart got wealthier, people were still buying things. And remember, a
Mhm.
lot of people lost their jobs during COVID.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. This is
in
true.
the perspective of like the world's changing
Hmm.
in that perspective, because a lot of times, or we didn't have that Amazon 5 to 10 years ago.
Right. I
So
yeah, that's fire. That's a good
Well,
point.
no, well, Amazon was around
it wasn't around,
five.
but go
It
ahead.
was around. It was still popular. I think the e-commerce industry,
E-commerce, that's what the word I was looking for.
you know, obviously has blown up a lot more within the last like 5 to 10 years or
Hmm.
10 years. I would say, in this and as far as what people were doing that, you know, the things with a recession.
Hmm.
And I definitely would love for Fred to finish his take on this. Is with a recession, whether again it's depending on the side of the coin you want to look at, right?
Hmm.
Again, some people are going to disagree, some people are going to agree, some people look at data and say yes, things are up as far as prices, but because there's jobs,
Hmm.
we're not in a recession. Um, Usually, if there's recession, they're gonna probably tell people to watch their spending and things like that. I mean, it's all these different factors, but with a recession, what it basically boils down to is that it's the rich are going to get richer. That's number one, and two, people who know how to like survive tends to get a little bit more creative, and this is where you might
Hmm.
get the scammers, or you might get people just legally,
Absolutely.
illegally, and legally know how to hustle and make it
Facts.
through because at the end of the day, bills still got to get paid. You can't tell your mortgage company, or you can't tell your landlord that we're in a recession. I can't pay my bills. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? I need a little bit more time. Where I got you next month. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell American Express or Discover, like, hey, we're in a recession, right? Gas prices are not expensive. So instead of me
Hmm.
paying my credit card this month, I'm gonna get you next month, and I'll pay what I can pay. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, right?
Hmm.
There's not always a lot of relief that comes along with that. So it's like with the recession, it's trying to also figure out to navigate, but also most importantly, knowing how to save and prepare yourself just in case one does happen, and your job decides
Yes.
like, hey, we got to let you go, and you're have enough money, you have at least six months of income to be able to survive at minimum, because again, the bills are not going to stop. They're still going to come every single month, and they're going to expect for you to pay.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, like, to the question, do I think we're in a recession? I would say, uh, I wouldn't call it a recession. I would call it we are in crisis. As
Interesting.
uh, would you say?
No, I said interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say we're in crisis just because if you look at it like inflation, right? And inflation is happening in like all across the boards, in terms of the housing market, with gas, with groceries, all around. Toiletries are out of hand completely. And then you think about this, right? You look at the news. Then you look at we're helping Ukraine to fund this war going on over there with Russia and everything like that. We're helping
Mm.
them. We're giving them money constantly. So I'm like, okay, we giving them all of this money to fight this war that we ain't got nothing to do with. And then here we are over here, like things is constantly going up. We hear on the news too, right? Coverage about different states. Landlords are raising rents
Mm-hmm.
astronomically. Like
Hmm.
I heard this story, I think it was like in Vegas or something like that. Um, and about this landlord, he raised their rent by like I think like like $2,000, $3,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
It was ridiculous.
I saw that story. Yep.
Yeah,
It
and
was something crazy like that.
Yeah, but I'm like, but you know what it is? It's supply and demand. What they're doing, not in the terms of like, okay, I'm supplying you with housing, right? And it's like, yo, I gotta meet my quota too, and things are getting more expensive on my side too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all across the board. It's not only for the person who owns the place, the house that you live in, but it's for the person that is in the house as well. So they gotta take extra steps. Because what about things breaking down in the house, right?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta recoup that. I gotta repay that. And then, what if they have an extra, another baby and everything like that? When I say crisis, I mean it's like all across the board, not only inflation. I mean in terms of mental as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
people more than any time that has ever existed. We film everything. Everything is filmed. And then you got like all these violent scenarios being filmed, all of these, and we're able to see it. Kids are able to see it. Everybody's able to see these violent scenarios. I was like on my Instagram and they showed like this thing where this guy he does a video. He streams a video, and he said, and he's just like arguing at the camera, and all of a sudden, after that camera goes off, he kills himself and his three kids or whatever.
Whew.
So
Sad.
I'm like, this is like legit crisis. And then Biden is cracking down on fraud, PPP fraud, which we
Mm-hmm.
understand, because you don't want anybody scamming the system and this, that, and the third. But guess what? Desperate people do in situations. They desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm not saying it's right,
They
but
get creative.
I'm just saying crisis. That's what's happening outside. Monkeypox, COVID. Look at all this stuff we got going on outside. That's why I say I don't think it's the recession. I think it's just crisis. It's mental crisis, emotional crisis, and then you can follow that by financial crisis.
Mm. I like that. That's good. I like how you use the word crisis. It's there's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever. In the words of Mobb Deep, it's real, man. It's very true. I do like that term. I think crisis fits better
Mm-hmm.
than the word recession because there is a lot going on more than just from a financial aspect. There is and there's like this new virus potential that may be taking place as well coming from China. So there's just a lot that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and that can easily have people scared to death, have people very concerned,
Yeah.
and have people just afraid on like how they're going to live or navigate the next day. Because some of these things really doesn't matter if you have $1 million in your bank or you have $2 in your bank.
Right.
You're gonna be impacted, in some shape or form. So
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely want to encourage our listeners is just to, spiritually stay grounded.
Yeah.
Don't allow fear to kind of just take over because it's easy to be fearful by turning on the news or watching, Instagram or looking out your window because everything is just right now it's just up
Yeah.
completely from violence to food prices, gas prices,
Yeah.
rent, the cost of to buy a home
Right.
is up. There's not one thing that's not like up. Everything is just up pretty much, and that can have people on edge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to go on edge and fall into that trap. But with God, all things are possible. And I would just kind of just encourage that. It just we just gotta have to kind of go through these tough times, and hopefully, eventually, those bumps in the road will turn to a smooth road.
It's definitely a hard pill to swallow because if we look at the Bible too, like the Bible went through many times of famine in
Yeah,
different regions, like
correct.
different places. Like prophets will come, they would get the word of God from God, and they'd be like, okay, there's gonna be a famine, or somebody would have a dream and they'd be like, oh, it's gonna be a famine. There was so many times in the word that you can look. And I encourage everybody to go look at those times of famine and what they did and how they held on to their faith. Because I mean, think about it. I want to do what Anthony does like each season to that guy who is a single father of like, and he has 4 or 5 kids, and he's just doing it on his own, and he can't afford therapy, not because of financial, but because of time.
Yeah.
Because everything he's doing is for his kids. To that man right there, I want to tell you, you like to keep your head up. You're a king, and to continue to keep fighting the good fight. And yeah, you can't go to therapy right now, but you will be able to, and to continue to keep looking up options and try to find time if that is what you need, or counseling is what you need. If you're going to church, seek out counseling alternatives as well. Like, because I know in this time, everybody's going through it in some capacity with doubt, fear, worry, and anxiety, more than anything. Because this time is something else, man. Like, we thought we was getting better from COVID, and then here come monkeypox out of nowhere. Like, it's like, if it, like my mom always says, if it ain't one thing, it's two. It's always one like another thing, you know. And then with, I think us as a society, it's hard too, because like we've talked about this, fellas, like, where it's like, I feel like sometimes as a society we all divided. Everybody's divided. We can't
Very
agree on
much.
things. That's why we continue to keep pushing. I mean, that's the reason why, like, a lot of things are not getting solved in terms of the United States. Like we can't agree on anything. We can't, hell, we can't even agree that Black Lives Matter. So it's
That's a
like there's
whole nother
always,
conversation.
that's yeah,
Word.
that's another podcast, that's another episode. But I'm just saying, there's always somebody that's gonna come up, that's gonna stand up and be like, I don't know, how I feel about that,
Yeah.
because everybody got an opinion. Nope. I mean, and it's the land of, like, the freedom of speech thing is great, but then there's still people that don't believe that you should have free speech.
Correct.
So that's the time we live in, you know.
I do have a question in
Uh-huh.
regards to going back to recession. Um, should we still pay 10% in a recession?
What, as far as to your church?
Correct.
Yeah.
If you don't have it.
I mean, that's, I would say this. I would just say it's between you and God.
Uh-huh.
That's what I would just say. Like, I would still encourage it if you can, because when you tie that 10%, you're doing it based off of faith, right? You're doing it based off faith that you're sowing that seed back into God's kingdom, and He's going to sow it back to you. But
Absolutely.
again, if let's say we are in a recession right now, right? Let's say we are in a recession, and financially, you're struggling, right? You lost your job. You can't find another job because there's no job that's out there that's hiring, because a lot of companies, they're laying off people. The unemployment rate is, it's not at 3.5%. It's at, let's say 10%, 11%, which is extremely high. So, you can't work, but you're going to church, and if you feel like, hey, I can't give my last $5 into this collection plate, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't give your last $5 into the collection plate. I mean,
Right.
that's really, it always comes down, that's between you and God. I know some pastors may disagree, or some pastors will force their congregation to, like, give the last $5. But I
Sad.
would just say it's just, that's between you and God. And if God is telling you in your heart, like, sow that seed, then sow that seed. And if you feel like He's telling you differently, then again, that's between you and Him.
Well,
Yeah.
I would just want to touch on that topic. Why would you force somebody that doesn't have?
I think you know what it is, Anthony. I think because some people do it out of routine, and I think some churches are really misguided when it comes to giving, bro. Like, a lot of
Mm,
churches are. They're very misguided when it comes to giving. They don't understand the principle of it, So they basically use it as a form of manipulation, in a sense, and they'll be like, because people should want to freely give, right? Because it comes from your heart. It shouldn't be a thing of like, oh man, here we go again, I gotta pay. It's not a bill. And I
Mm-hmm.
actually heard that at Winter's Church. That's what I like Pastor Maurice said, that at one point. He was just like, "This is not a bill. Like tithing is not a bill," you know. And he was just like, and I was
Shout
like,
out to the pastor.
when I heard that, I was like, yo, that's the truth. It's straight up true, because it's like some people, we treat it as a bill. You know, we treat it as, here we go. Here I got it. You know what I always do when I tithe? I don't never set my tithe on auto pay. Reason being, because I actually have to do the tithing. Like I want to go in. Like I give via my phone the push pay app, but I don't set it on auto pay because I want to actually do the giving.
Yeah,
Like I
I do
want
the
to
same
go
thing.
through that process. I don't want to just, because I got bills on auto pay. You know, I already got bills on auto pay, but with something as serious as like tithing and offering, I wanna be like, here, God, you gave it to me. I'm giving it back to you.
Does that change anything if you do auto pay or you do a pay?
Yeah, it's like for my church we have a push pay app, and
Okay.
and you have a option to do auto pay, or you could just they'll ask you, do you want to just give a one time gift?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah,
So
and
like
I
that's what I do.
I think like when it comes to that too, it's um people like there's people I know who's in a recession, and though they may not have tithe or go to church, and they didn't really have the money and they're broke, but they'll find a way to still go to the club, some money at the club, or they'll still
Mm-hmm.
find a way to buy the new Jordans. I think when it comes to tithing and just anything in general, period, we will find a way to pay for what we buy or pay for what we want, right?
Yeah.
And I think like when it comes to tithing, it does get like a very bad rap, and it's true there are some churches who are very much misguided, and there is this negative light when it comes to like money in the church. But
Mm-hmm.
we also have to remember like the church costs to run, because remember it's a nonprofit, so it's not like they're getting
Mm-hmm.
money from the government. There's not like there's sponsorships, at least for most churches, at least your normal local church.
Yeah.
It's not like there's investors like in the business or anything like that at all. So they really do depend on, and I think that's the other part people forget sometimes. It does depend on how it runs and it operates on the tithes, right? And how the pastor is able to pay his bills, or not even only that, but just how they can keep the church light on, be able to pay the mortgage of the church or the rent of the church if they're renting out the church.
Mm-hmm.
If they have like a praise and worship team, sometimes they get paid. Like, so the people like who plays the drums and stuff like that, they pay them. But in regards with a recession, again, it just comes down to like if you feel like it's not a priority for you because financially, it's just not in your budget.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I always say this: that's between you and God. No
Mm-hmm.
pastor should make you feel bad on it.
Absolutely.
Yes, I do believe they should educate on the proper meaning of tithing and what it really means to tithe. But I don't believe that, because that's what my church does. And he encouraged people. They encourage people to tithe, but at the same time, they're not going to force anybody
Yeah.
to tithe or shame them because like you didn't tithe. Because again, that comes down to you and God.
Yeah.
No, and that's a really great point. I think the reason why I brought that up because I thought about what Fred was saying about suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might not even know you're in a recession because it's so normal to you. And you just figure out, damn, this price is high, but I gotta try to figure out how I'm gonna pay for it. So you've always been trying to figure out how to pay for it, where that now becomes a mentality. So how do you now transition that mentality to financial freedom or financial literacy? So I want to talk about the solution. What do we do? Yes, let's say we're in a recession. What do we making smart choices? What
I
are some
think
of your
the
what are some of your solutions?
I think more than anything, we spoke about one of them, and Jeff so brilliantly like stated is like uh saving, making sure that you have, and to make sure that too that you create a budget, that what
Yep.
you're spending
And
on, like,
stick to it.
yeah, stick to it, and that you're not in the red, like where you are spending out more than you're getting paid,
Mhm.
like overspending and everything like that. Making sure that you're paying the your bills on time and everything like that. You definitely want to do that more than anything. I think too is priorities. priorities. Definitely,
That's a
like
good
I'm
one.
not gonna be like, oh, okay, should I get some Jordans or should I go grab some groceries? Should I get some Jordans or should I grab some groceries?
Yeah.
When you
Facts.
could take that same $200, $300 you gonna spend and grab some groceries and just wear whatever the other shoes you have in the house for the week, you know, because you can't eat Jordans.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I think
Exactly.
I think I think that's the biggest thing I would say. Like those are the two my two biggest things. What about y'all fellas?
I think for me it would be um do not do this when you're in the recession, but read about credit cards. I think building up your credit is something that's really important in anything that you're doing, or personal credit or business credit. Really read upon it, and then when you do have the funds from the savings, learn how you can balance the savings and the credit card together where they can intersect each other. I think that's one. And do group economy. Group economy is just basically if if you have a Costco card, okay, let me use that real quick. And let me buy it in bulks. And then say for example you buy that in bulk whole month. Say for another example is, hey, you know what? It's to save money with Fred's family. Hey, come over. I'm gonna cook Sunday dinner this Sunday, and we just do it. You cook Sunday dinner, Jeff cooks Sunday dinner, and then we go from there. Group economy.
Yeah,
So
building.
just make sure if you come to my house, Anthony, don't leave the cans on the floor, please. Please clean up after yourself, bro.
No worries, no
Shots,
worries, bro.
shots.
No worries, no
Just
worries.
saying.
So that's group economy, or um, not a lot of people think like this, but I've seen different cultures where if it gets to this point, I want to be clear to the person in the back. If it gets to this point, move back in with a family member, move back in with a parent.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay, and that's the third thing. Third thing is putting the pride aside, saying to yourself, okay, where am I at right now? I see that I'm struggling, and you don't have to struggle. After you pray and do all that stuff, you don't have to struggle. Create a solution. There are people out there, even if it's 2 months, 3 months, but you have a plan. The
Mm-hmm.
last one is always have a plan to get out.
Yeah.
Always have a plan to get out. And that is why the wealthy becomes wealthier, because they're not just planning for the recession, they already had the mentality of when, okay, all right, so this is about to go down. I'm gonna wait, because everything goes of money. It's not short term. It's a long term game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
So
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
That is correct.
The wealthy, they know how to make money in any type of
kind of,
economy, and
yeah.
it doesn't really matter. They know how to make money. That's how those who stay richer stay richer. I would just add on to that just to say, like, just don't live above your means. You know, it, live like you are in a recession. You know what I'm saying? And which means it's like you save more. You're not overspending. I do believe, like, pay yourself. Like, so, you know you don't want to work hard and not be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So you could pay yourself, but just know, like, how much I can pay myself, but still be able to save, balance my checkbook, make sure all my bills are paid, and I have money tucked away um, for a rainy day. And just prioritize your spending. And
Yeah.
that's what you have. That's what you have to do, because it's easy to get caught up and, like, buy things. Like, I like buying sneakers. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I do enjoy, but I budget for that, and
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, I don't overspend off of just my budget, because that's how I pay myself. Me paying myself is like, this is how I treat myself, is buying a pair of new J's. Some people could be like going out to dinner, on a
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. Some people it's like going to the movies,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? People have their thing, but it's just making sure everything else is taken care of, and that
Right.
you have enough money to where 6 months out, if you lose your job today, you can still be able to pay all your bills on time 6 months out. You get what I'm saying? Because then hopefully by that point you'll either find a new job, you already kind of get back on your feet, and then add all the money back in, because your savings is what your savings is supposed to be for. It's supposed to be for emergencies only. You know what I'm saying? And just in case something has happened, and just again prioritize your spending.
And
Absolutely.
what we're saying, think about it as if we're not even in a recession. Let this be your financial mindset. I just want to make sure you're clear. Let this be your financial mindset. So if anything happens,
Yeah.
you're prepared. Something that we always talk about is plan. Was it plan, prepare,
And plant.
and plan?
Plan, prepare.
Yeah.
So plan, prepare.
No, plan.
Oh.
Good try, Abe. Good try. That's the original PPP.
PPP loan.
What Jeff said, but think about that when you're planning in regards to your financial.
And I think the bit I wanted to put this on as a cap. Like, take care of yourself too.
That's free.
Take care of yourself. That's free, because it's like you don't want to be sitting up here wondering like, oh, why is my back hurting? Why is my back hurting? I ain't been to the doctor in 10 years, but why is my back hurting? No, go to the doctor.
Word.
Do your self-care, and make sure your mind is right. Check in with yourself. Spend time with your friends. Go outside. But bigger thing is medical. Make sure you're good. Do your checkup. Go to the doctor for real. Make sure
that does not get talked about enough right there. That piece does not get talked about enough. Is taking care of your physical health and your mental health.
People it's so funny to me. Please. I was gonna say, Jeff, to your point, it's so funny to me. People will buy like 7 cars, right? People buy all these cars, and then but they breaking down on the inside.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Their body needs a tune.
But I still got these 7 cars.
Wow,
their body needs a tune up, bro. It's the truth, man. People are afraid to go to the doctor, get checked out. It's just like a car. If you have a car and it's making a strange noise, ignoring it and keep driving it's not gonna make that noise go away. It's just only going to make it worse. So it's the same thing with your body. If something does not feel right in your body, don't ignore it. Like it'll just heal itself. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? Go to the doctor, get it looked at, get it checked out, and get the necessary treatment that's needed. I think that's like one of the biggest things. Because listen, when it comes to sicknesses and diseases, they don't care. Sickness and diseases doesn't care how much money you have in your bank. Doesn't care about any of that stuff. Don't care if you're rich or poor. I work in healthcare. I've seen wealthy people lay in the hospital fighting for their life, and I've seen people who are in poverty fight for their life. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because that's one thing you can't. You could throw all the money in the world at that nothing can. It still will come for you. Like like straight up and down. Like I've seen so many people in different situations. Because my mom works in. She's a nurse, so it's like. All, from the people that are like wealthy to middle class to the people that don't have as much money. I've seen them in hospice, and just and they've gone through so much stuff. And I'm not coming for anybody that, of course, is in a hospice or anything. I'm just telling you what I've seen, and it's sad. It's very sad. So take care of your body today. Go to the gym, get that checkup, do everything that you have to do. Like eat good, eat well, you know what I'm saying? And,
leave that White Castle alone.
Who eats White Castle?
Apparently some people do, because they're still open.
Yeah,
still
bro.
Business.
Somebody eating that White Castle.
Oh my Lord, that's disgusting.
Let me tell you. But I mean, like,
do y'all guys have before y'all go, do you guys have a what's it called, a primary doctor?
Yeah, a PCP. We, like, Sabina has one. I'm searching for one.
It's a weird thing, because I remember going to the doctor the other day. I was going to the dentist, and they asked me, do I have a primary doctor? I was like, no. And that's a weird thing for me, but that should be normal, because I think when you're like a child, you have a primary doctor. Like, you have that person, your mom tells you who you go to. But I'm like, damn,
your pediatrician.
I don't know. I don't know how to find a primary doctor.
Yeah, that's
Yes, you could go.
It's
You could go on Zodoc, but it's like, how do you know this person's gonna be like the person?
Well, I mean, so this is what I would encourage you to anybody to do that who's listening that's looking for a primary doctor. One, find out number one thing you do is find out if you have insurance, right?
yeah,
Who, what doctor takes your insurance? Because that's super important. Because not every doctor takes every single insurance, right?
Okay.
So you need to figure out whatever doctor that you're looking at or looking for, are they in my network? So if I have, let's say, Aetna, Humana,
there you go.
Blue Cross and Blue Shields, whatever it is, Emblem Health, what are the lists? And they'll give it to you. They'll tell you, like, these are the list of doctors that are in network. So these are the doctors that you can go see. Then you can go online and there's Rate My Doctor. I think there's Rate MD. And you can go online and you can see, how they're rated, right? So you can see, like, hey, this doctor has 4 out of 5 stars. This doctor has 5 stars. This doctor has an average of 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
And so, okay, these are just like if you're looking at a restaurant, you're trying to see, how good the food is. You do it by what? Go into, Yelp or whatever it is and check the ratings are. And if the ratings are great, all right, I'm going to try this restaurant out. The ratings are poor, you're like, I'm not going to go there. So you can do the same thing with that. And then once you get that, then what you do is you just schedule an appointment by either calling the doctor, some even let you do it online, and just schedule, first time visit with them. And then you do your first time visit, and then you see how it is. Just do a normal checkup, and if you're like, hey, I like the service here, just like if you're going to a restaurant, hey, the service was great, the waiter treated me excellent, the food was phenomenal, I'm gonna come back. Same thing, you go to the doctor, the receptionist was great, you know what I'm saying? The doctor was great, the nurse was really nice to me, I didn't have to wait super long. I will come back to this doctor's office to continue to get my normal checkup. If it's poor, just like a restaurant, I'm not coming back. And then you just search for a different doctor. The only caveat is, like, if you have like and I know this is like a lot of information, but if you have an HMO plan tends to be a little bit more limited, which means that normally, like, they won't let you change your PCP just like that. Like, some of them will, like, once a month you can make a change on your PCP, which is your primary care doctor, or some you have to wait until maybe the end of your the end of the year or something like that. So you just kind of want to be careful with that. That's why it's so very important to know your insurance. So you can know what doctors you can see, how often you can see the doctors, and obviously the most important thing too, how much it's going to cost you, if it's going to cost you.
Just get your free game.
For real.
Free 99.
Free 50. You know what I'm saying?
It's free 99, but it is common sense. But
so I mean, it was a good point. It was a good thing that you brought that up.
Because I think for me, I want to when I went to the dentist this week, I was so excited, bro.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say
what to the dentist. Well,
I was so excited.
Not me.
I was so excited because I'm gonna try to say it without just saying pause. I had to
put something in your mouth.
Come on, man. Come on.
That's why, bro.
You don't have to go into it, Anthony.
A shorty was in my mouth.
Whoa!
All right, we're gonna edit this out.
Nah.
We're not gonna have Janelle come over here and
Nah. On some real stuff, it was all black dentists.
Awesome.
Everybody was black. The reception was Spanish. It was just a black and brown dentist. And now I'm so excited. They were all professional.
Yes,
they were professional.
Yeah, they're good.
I
was good. I went there. I
would definitely, if you are in the Jersey, New York, Connecticut area, please, Jeff, what's the name of the dentist again?
I'll give me a second because I have to look it up. I can't remember the name on top of my head.
So while he's looking it up, let me brag about them a little bit more. So it was like I came in, they treated me well, and they knew and I had to tell them because I think when I'm getting this procedure, I breathe really hard. So it was hard for me to breathe. So they took their time.
That's good.
And they just walked me through every process. And also I thank God that I have insurance because That
Boy,
that price, boy, yeah, that last
Oh yeah, they
price,
ain't cheap. They ain't
yeah.
cheap.
So that last price, I was like, okay, I can afford this. But overall, it was just like it
yeah.
was a really really great. Um, Jeff, you got it?
Now I'm still looking, bro. But go ahead, you keep talking.
No. So, and it's owned by a black Jamaican. But.
Oh man,
That's why Anthony likes it.
yeah, a black Jamaican.
He was like, let me get that jerk chili
He
in
was
my
a
mouth.
dirty dentist.
Yeah. But real talk, it was a good experience. I have no problem with it.
I can imagine.
But if we do not have it, I want to respect everybody's time. Wow, season four, man. I can't believe it, man.
Yeah, we doing it, man. The way it has to be done, making sure. And Anthony, I'm glad you could have that. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
the story about the doctor, because it means so much, because a lot of people out there, they don't know how to. We don't know how to like pick a doctor, how to find a doctor.
facts.
Jeff
Go ahead.
so eloquently shared, like man, like that's the way you do it, because it was a whole process for me. I'm still looking, honestly,
Facts.
and to know that there's this whole world in the way you can select a doctor.
Facts.
I'm just like I'm like, yeah, that's the way. That's what we need to talk about more.
I just want some more black doctors in Jersey. Like I had this dope black doctor in Brooklyn, but I can't find no black doctors in Jersey.
I mean,
So,
there's plenty of them. Just gotta just keep
but
looking. There's
my
definitely a lot.
but like you said, it's limited with the insurance I have.
Yeah, because a lot of it is going to depend on your insurance. If you're sure, if you have an insurance that, and I don't know how doctors pick and choose, or how the insurance pick and choose which doctors are in the network, but yeah, a lot of it is based off that. But yeah, listen, I would just encourage, like, if you're looking for a black doctor, just Google it, or I'm sure there's plenty in Jersey. It's going to come down to if your insurance accepts it or not. But
Facts.
shout out to all the amazing black doctors that's out there. We
Facts.
salute you guys, man, because you guys take care of us. And not only the doctors, too, the nurses, too, because they don't get enough credit. Any healthcare professional, the clinicians, for the people who register you when you first walk in,
Facts.
and to the doctors, man, they all play a crucial role to making sure that, listen, we're all good and we're all healthy. So shout out to them.
Absolutely.
And by the way, they're called Supreme Dental Associate.
Yes.
They're located on 331 Valley Road, West Orange, New Jersey. The doctor told me, like, yo, please write a Yelp. So I want to big him up. Hopefully one day he might could come on our podcast. That would be really dope. And talk about, because that's another thing we could talk about as well. It's like making sure you fix your teeth.
Let me tell you. Not just go get them get gold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go get a grill.
Because it's a whole, like, it's a DNA. It's like there's like DNA in your teeth. Like it can literally tell you where you're from and things of that nature.
Right. And but thank you for sharing that information, Anthony. And I look forward to the next episode of this season, and it's gonna be dope. And this has been a great episode, fellas. Until the next one, peace out.
Peace out. Fix your teeth, nigga.